So, yeah, it's gonna be great. And actually, I didn't expect to find the Prius available at the airport.
Exactly, okay. You tell me when.
Yeah.
Okay, hi. I'm Zan Dubin-Scott, and I'm a board member and communications director with Plug-in America. And we're here today at Inaugural Parade West, Plug-in America. We put this event on today with 74 plug-in cars, all electric and plug-in hybrid electric, because what we really wanted was to be in the inaugural parade for Barack Obama. We applied for the parade, we didn't get chosen, so we decided, gosh darn, we're going to put one on ourselves. And you know, we were really, actually it was kind of a good thing, because if we had been in Washington, D.C., we would have had probably 10 cars maximum. We have 74 cars here today, from big to small, old to prototype. And the whole reason really for this is to send a message to Barack Obama, our new president, to Congress and to Detroit and automakers worldwide that Americans want electric cars, all electric and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. We also, what's very important, and we tried to demonstrate today, is to charge these vehicles with renewable energy. So we had a lot of solar panels here today. We had what we call the Solar Taco, which is a company called Solar City, has a car affixed with solar panels, and we like to call this EV PV. EV for electric vehicle, PV for photovoltaics. And then you are truly driving zero emission from well to wheels, from the point of generation to the actual car on the road. Saudi Arabia is building the first carbon neutral city. It's called Masdar City, and we know that if one of the world's largest producers of oil is now going full force, spending billions of dollars on alternative technology, this is the signal that oil is a finite resource. So that, you know, from the most practical standpoint. Of course, the second reason is environmental. The focus has been taken off global warming and those problems, but they haven't gone away and they are only getting worse. And the third one is economy. And again, we have fantastic leadership now calling for a new, really we need to revolutionize our economy and start to create jobs in the green economy.
Stand back. Did you talk to Jeannie about the bike that you guys did?
I got it.
You got it, yes.
So psyched.
Tell me a little bit more about what you have done today. To me, it looked like a miracle. So many people showing up. So.
Well, we had a nice parade. I'm Paul Scott. I'm a board member and co-founder of Plug-in America.
May I ask
so we wanted to put on a parade. We had applied to get into the inauguration parade for Obama, and since there were over 1,300 applications and they only chose about 60, we didn't make the cut. So we had a fallback plan, and that plan was to come here in Santa Monica, where there are a lot of electric vehicles in Southern California, and have a parade and a press conference to celebrate the Obama administration coming to power, and also to show the world that there are a lot of viable highway-capable electric vehicles. And we displayed everything from motorcycles to a truck that hauls 60,000 pounds. We have a Sprinter van, which is much like the vans that the UPS and FedEx uses. We had a big school bus that's a plug-in hybrid. We had converted Priuses, several of them. We had regular gas cars that were converted to be fully electric.
What are you riding here?
This is a Vetrix. It's a motor scooter. It's made in Poland, but it's an American company, and it goes 62 miles an hour, has a 50-mile range, charges on a 110 outlet.
Cost?
About $9,000. So it's a little more expensive than a gas bike, but it's much cheaper to operate because you never go to a gas station.
Of course, it's registered as motorcycle, right?
Yes,
Regular
that's correct.
motorcycle.
You have to have an M1 license in order to operate it.
All right, great.
So, and it's great fun to drive. I mean, it has regenerative braking so that when you're going to go stop, you could use your brakes, but you don't have to. You just twist the throttle backwards, and it turns the motor into a generator and uses the kinetic energy of the moving bike to generate power as it's stopping, and it stores it back in the battery. So that increases the efficiency quite a bit.
So Paul, let me ask you a question. How do we bring all this beauty to Washington, D.C.?
Well, the way to do it is to work through your representatives and through the Obama people. They are aware of this. They're calling for 1 million plug-in hybrids by 2016. And what we're saying is we need 1 million plug-ins by 2012 and 10 million by 2016. So we think that it's possible to do that. It won't be easy, but we've got to build the factories to build the batteries. We need those factories in the U.S. Virtually all the battery factories are in Asia and Europe. We have not very many here at all, and so that's going to be a big problem, but people are working on that. So we ask people to obviously work through the legislative arena to make sure that all of their representatives are aware this is the technology they want. But second, and probably just as important, is to go to your automobile dealers, and whether it's Toyota, Ford, GM, or whoever it is, and tell them that you will not buy a new car until it's got a plug on it. And that really will drive change faster than anything else. We like to say, over the last year, the car industry has tanked. We like to say that we've been telling people for 3 years now not to buy a new car till it's got a plug on it. So we like to take claim for that. But in reality, it was the worldwide recession. But on the other hand, when the car makers do start making cars with plugs on them, people will start buying them again, and they'll buy them by the millions.
Okay, your message to Barack Obama
is to accelerate his plan right now. Right now, he's totally on board with plug-in vehicles and renewable energy. But we need to step it up. We need to move much faster than what he thinks is possible, and I think that we can. But that's really it, is to help support him in what he's trying to do, because he's got a lot of fires to put out, left over from the old regime. But he's got to do that, and at the same time crank up this industry. Hire people to build these cars, build the batteries, hire people to install solar and wind so that we can run these vehicles on renewable energy.
Top 3 goals for Plug-in America in 2009.
To get viable, highway-capable electric cars in the showroom, to get more renewable energy onto the grid, and to eliminate any obstacles to accelerating that entire change.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Paul.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, and go ahead.
My name is Kobe Sky. This is a converted Chevy Metro, and it's a conversion of an existing vehicle, which is a great way to keep vehicles out of being thrown away and reducing the pollution from them. It's using lead acid batteries, and we have an AC motor in it, and it took us a little over a year because it took a while to get all the parts. It took a while to get a welder and get some of the things figured out, but we love it, and we figure if two amateurs can do this in our backyard, then Detroit can do it for a lot cheaper, a lot faster, and get these vehicles on the road.
Absolutely. Where are you from?
I live in Long Beach.
Okay, so just introduce yourself, your name.
Bill Hopkins. This is our electric vehicle, RAV4 EV. It's a 2003, which makes it near the end that they made those by Toyota. It's got about 45,000 miles on it. We did not buy it new, but we bought it from someone in Northern California, flew up there and drove it down. So it is possible to do that. Yeah, we have solar panels on our house, just like we have here under this parking structure. So we can use that to feed back to the grid when we're not using it, as well as to charge the vehicle. So we have no gas, and the excuse of all the electric vehicles take the pollution and put it to some other state. About 40 to 45% of EV owners have solar panels on their house, and that's how they charge their vehicles. So it is total solution, totally pollution free, and it's great. We've got one, charge baby charge.
This is a 120 volt system. It has the top speed of 70 miles an hour. Costs 2 cents a mile if you plug it into the wall. We had it converted, cost us $12,000, and we've been extremely happy with it ever since. It has a 50-mile range. We drive like 26 miles a day, and so we have more than what we need.
Top 3 features you love the most about your car, your Tesla.
Well, I've been driving an all-electric car, a Toyota RAV4, for 8 years. So just in general, I love the silence, the instant torque, and the non-destructive way of driving. I think the top thing I like about the Tesla, on top of those 3 characteristics, is how quick off the line it is, so fast, 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. It knocks your head back, you know, off the line when you put your foot on the accelerator. You can't say, put your foot on the gas, put your foot on the accelerator. It's just so fast. And instant response, it's like a slingshot. My message to Barack Obama is that electric vehicles really can charge into the future with cleaner, renewable technology that works now. We don't have to wait 10 years for the propulsion of the future. It is here now. It has been here for decades, the better part of a century. This technology was suppressed. The time for suppressing technology that is clean and renewable and fast is over. We need to jump on this now. And there's an old song that I remember the line was, the time to hesitate is past, way past. Barack, let's go now.
Tell me a little bit more about your car.
These cars are they're NEVs, which is Neighborhood Electric Vehicle. They're built in Chino, California by California Roadster. And basically they're a little neighborhood 25-mile-an-hour vehicle. It's a federal statute called Neighborhood Electric Vehicle.
San Diego Kick Gas Festival?
Yeah, we were there.
That's it?
Yeah, that's right. We had this car. That was a fun weekend. We had a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And this is Paul Scott. He's the dog's godfather. And
I think there are a host of reasons why Obama should and I think is supporting plug-in vehicles. I mean, they are one technology with a lot of technological and political common ground that can really address a number of the problems that we're facing in society. You know, they work very well for climate change and folks that are concerned about that. Energy security, economics. You know, people are really worried about not so much these big issues, but how much is it going to cost me to get to work tomorrow? And when you can drive on electricity that's the equivalent of 70 cents a gallon, you know, that's pretty much an economic imperative. But the biggest reason that this administration ought to get behind plug-in cars is because people want them. That's it. You know, it's a good solution that people have been clamoring for years and has a growing movement behind it and a lot of momentum. So the best way to address that pent-up demand is to start building and putting cars on the road and let them sort of take off from there. I think it's most important to meet people where they are, whether it's the consumer or the dealer or the policymaker, and draw them towards something better. So I think that if dealers have attractive, affordable electric cars that they can sell and that do sell, my experience is they have no problem with wanting to get on board.
With a company called Plug-in Hybrid Inc. We're located down in San Diego, and this is our first prototype of our first conversion. And what our company does is we convert gas guzzlers such as this F-150 into an electric hybrid, and we do that by adapting one of our kits that we retrofit onto the vehicle, electric motors and batteries, and a controller that we call our secret sauce that seamlessly navigates between the electric and gas engine. And our main goal is to retrofit every gas guzzler vehicle in the United States, because with the mandates that are going on now, the fleets can't go out and buy new vehicles, but what they can do is they can afford to take existing vehicles and convert them into hybrids. And our kits are going to run anywhere between $6,000 and $8,000. It's all depending on what your driving habits are, how far you go, and what kind of power you want and distance. And we can basically configure each vehicle to meet the needs of the individual customer. And that, my friends, is what's going to save America. We're looking at America's energy future today, because this is a solution we have today that's being done today, that we don't have to wait for Detroit to get off the you-know-what and get going. This is here, this is here, this is California at its best, leading the pack once again.
Hi, my name is Zach Schuler. I live in Northridge. This is my Tesla Roadster. Got it about 4 weeks ago, and I love it. Yeah, this is car number 70 off the Tesla line. But what they say is if you charge it in range mode, you can get up to 244 miles on a single charge. 125 miles per hour. Well, this vehicle, because it was one of the first 100 made, it's called a Signature 100 series. So it was just under 140,000. But I do qualify for one of those white stickers that I can put on the car that allows me into the carpool lane. Some of the other benefits are in certain cities, I don't have to pay the parking meter fee. I get a little sticker for my windshield, so never have to pay a parking meter fee again. And the best part is I never have to put any gas in the car.
That's amazing.
All right. Hi, I'm Ben Weiss, and this is my brand new Tesla. I've had it for about a month and put about 1,200 miles on it, and it's wonderful. It's fantastic. I love it. So I live in Santa Barbara. I drive back and forth between LA and Santa Barbara on a regular basis. And
how do you charge the car?
I have a home charger in Santa Barbara that charges it in about 3.5 hours.
Do you have solar on your house?
Not yet, but I'm looking into getting solar.
Cool.
It would be a good idea.
Cool. What do your friends think of this car?
They love it, and they all want to go for a ride in it, and they want to drive it.
Yeah.
So.
And prosperity. Yes, we can.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Is this on? All right. Paul Scott, are we ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Baby, you can drive. And it's EV. And plug-in hybrid electric. Okay, I want to recap why we're here today. Many of you already know that Plug-in America applied to be in the Washington, D.C. presidential inaugural parade. We weren't chosen. That was okay. We regrouped, and what we assembled instead was history's largest and most diverse collection of plug-in vehicles. Let me hear! And 74 RSVPs yesterday, and we have everyone here today. Yeah! And let me, by way of thanking everyone, go through the list. Our all-electrics are Toyota RAV4s, Teslas, Solectria, Falcon 50-ton truck, now driving emission-free at our Port of Los Angeles. We have e-Box by AC Propulsion. We have a prototype Mitsubishi iMovie in testing at SoCal Edison. Chevy S10s. Okay, Phoenix SUTs. We have two-wheeler EVs, you guys. We have Zero motorcycles with us. We have Bramo and we have Vectrix. We have plug-in hybrid electrics. We have a school bus by AC Innova. So our kids don't have to breathe diesel. We have SCAQMDs, Dodge Sprinter van, you guys. We have prototype Ford converted by Andy Frank, plug-in hybrid, plug-in conversion corp, and Energy CS. We have conversions. I'll be done soon. Jeep by Rev Conversions. We have Porsches, VW Jetta by AC Propulsion, Ford Escort, Hummer, H2. We've got all electric. We have a Miata, Geo Metro, and a Suzuki, so thank you. And a very special thank you to Southern California Edison, our sponsor today. Thanks also to Solar City for the solar taco, EE Solar for its portable solar panels, Pete's Coffee, my fellow PIA board members, Alexandra Paul, Colby Trudeau, Jeannie Trombley, Linda Nichols, Paul Scott, and Richard Kelly, who made today happen. Finally, a big thank you to Santa Monica's fleet manager, Rick Sykes, who has been nothing but helpful and supportive. I'm sorry if I've omitted anyone. Now, we have 6 speakers, and then we'll arrange our cars into the procession for our parade. We'll return here after about 20 minutes for as much conversation as we like until the city gets rid of us. And with that, let me please introduce our first honored speaker, and that is Chris Paine, who you all know is director of Who Killed the Electric Car, which did a lot for our movement, and which the LA Times calls Chris his movie, The Citizen Kane of the EV movement. And Chris is now filming, as we speak, Revenge of the Electric Car, the follow-up. Let me just now open the floodgates and introduce Chris. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here. I think it's safe to say that it's much more comfortable standing here in Santa Monica at 10 in the morning than it will be on Tuesday morning at the inauguration in Washington, D.C. So for those of us who are thinking that maybe we would participate in the inaugural parade, we can be happy to be here and not at a 2:30 in the morning security check in Washington, D.C. I'm very proud to be here, and I want to thank just a couple quick thank yous. We are told that the best thing about this morning is that our speeches will be very short, and that we'll get right on to the parade. But I would like to thank, I don't know if Fran's probably here?
Yes.
I want to thank Fran and all Californians who helped get AB 32 passed, because we're showing the world that California is serious about the environment and about the future. And it's kind of an indication that we really are in a moment of great change. I want to thank Plug-in America for bringing us all together, and the state of California and the city of Santa Monica for putting this solar power station in 10 years ago. It's been charging cars for over 10 years. We are in a fabulous moment of change, and we all should be very happy to be alive to witness it. This is a year that instead of car companies crushing their electric cars in the desert or smashing them at dealerships in the east side of Los Angeles, we have car companies arriving in D.C. in their little electric cars telling us that they'll be the salvation of their car companies. Yeah! That's a huge change. And not only that, car companies are rolling these cars out as a centerpiece of the Detroit Auto Show. This is just amazing, and we should all be very happy about that. If that isn't revenge, I don't know what is. This is also the year that hopefully CARB will put plug-in vehicles back at the front of the line instead of behind them as they have with hydrogen vehicles in the last few years. But most of all, this is the year that we have a president who will, instead of suing California to stop electric cars, is pledging that this whole country will build 1 million electric cars and plug-ins for all Americans. So I'm proud to wear this hat, and he's not even president. I'll just conclude my comments about a few comments about progress. 100 years ago, in 1908 or 1909, Henry Ford bought his wife Clara an EV. This will be the year that Lisa Vanderzee buys her husband, Bill Ford Jr., an EV, and it will be a Ford. The world is changing like that. This is also the year that's the 40th anniversary of landing on the moon. A couple years later, they drove an electric car on the moon. This year, people all over America will start driving electric cars here on Earth. I'd just like to conclude with kind of a shout out to all of you that were so supportive to Who Killed the Electric Car, with a clip from our good friend David Freeman. He said, why were these electric cars destroyed in the 1990s? Look how far ahead we'd be if we kept building them all this time. Well, he said famously, we don't want to remind people, they didn't want to remind people that there is such a thing as an electric car. Well, all of you have been reminding Americans that there is such a thing as an electric car, and we've been driving them for miles, and we've taken them to schools, and we've protested. Some of us have been arrested. We even made a film about it. And today, Americans and the world know about electric cars. So thank you for reminding the world about electric cars. It's going to be a great future, and let's get on with our parade.
All right. All right, so now we have our next honored speaker. So delighted to have Ed Kerr. Since '99, Ed Kerr has been director of Electric Transportation Division at Southern California Edison. In his role, Ed is responsible for all facets of the ET Division's electro-drive activity. They're numerous. I'm going to skip them with your blessing, Ed. From 1996 to '99, Ed Kerr was director of the Automotive Division of Edison EV, a wholly owned subsidiary of Edison Enterprises, established to build charging infrastructure for electric vehicles in California. Ed Kerr.
All right. Well, you know, this feels like the 1990s all over again. I mean, this is the largest concentration of plug-in vehicles that we've seen together in one place doing a parade since that time. And one of the big differences, I think, between the 1990s and now is this has nothing to do with a mandate. Absolutely nothing to do with a mandate. This is about the market pressure driving the technology development and bringing this technology to market. And we have a perfect storm now. We have energy security challenges that we've never had before. We have climate change challenges that we've never had before. And now what we have is at least 15 vehicles that are coming to market, declared production programs between 2010 and 2012, joining the wonderful and venerable vehicles that you are seeing today that are still on the road. We at Edison, we have 300 electric vehicles in our fleet. We just have passed 17 million EV miles. Last month, we did 138,000 EV miles with our fleet. So when somebody says, well, it's a golf cart, well, it's really technology that's not ready, That ain't true. It is so ready. The country is ready. The market is ready. The people are ready. And newsflash, the technology's ready.
Yeah!
All right? All right. Thank you very much.
All right, now another, just delighted to have Kevin McCune, Santa Monica City Council member, former Santa Monica mayor for over 10 years on the council. Kevin has been a consistent voice for the environment and for alternative transportation, including EVs. As liaison to the city's task force on the environment, he has introduced to the council pioneering policies, including the city's styrofoam ban and an upcoming any day now plastic bag ban. He has supported the city's transition to an alternative fuel vehicle fleet, assured inclusion of electric charging stations in the new city structure, parking areas, and that beautiful solar structure over there, and is working to change local zoning to make curbside chargers in residential neighborhoods easy to install. Kevin knows that global change springs from local decisions and individual choices. Kevin McCune.
I'll just talk loud because these mics are kind of down for shorter people. We're fine. I had to walk out of a city council meeting to be here with you this morning. And so I'm going to have to talk faster than an EV from a dead stop at a stoplight. And yeah, you get that. People here get that, you know, maximum torque at 0 RPM. We get EVs in Santa Monica. The council's meeting right now to talk about the economy and the city budget. Very serious business. And we have a diversified revenue source here in the city, but a big part of it is sales tax. And a big part of our sales tax is automobile sales. And automobile sales are down. Now, I think we here know at least one reason why automobile sales are down. They're making the wrong cars. Yeah. They're not making electric cars. Now, here in Santa Monica, I'm happy to say, if you saw the Los Angeles Business Journal story this week, we have somebody about to make electric cars here in Santa Monica. Out by Santa Monica Airport, a company called Miles Automotive Group is ready to start making electric cars. They plan to have 9,000 electric cars in California next year. So you will have the option to buy an electric car. And I'd like to go back to this budget meeting and tell our city council that Santa Monicans will buy electric cars. Can I tell them that? Yeah. I've already told my auto dealer I am not buying my next car until it comes with something that my current car, as much as I love it, does not have. Right here. My next car has to have a plug. Now, you know, today we're here in the sun, but really we have it made in the shade, in part because of this solar carport we have here to charge EVs. We have EV charging stations all over Santa Monica. There's a charging station in the basement of the library I just came from, many of our government buildings, many of our commercial areas, but that's not enough. We need now to move into an infrastructure to make it even easier to own an electric car in Santa Monica. So as was mentioned, I'm working for a zoning change to make it easier for residents to put curbside chargers in our residential neighborhoods. Yeah. And I want to thank Tom and others who spurred that on. But we have to make that zoning change to be ready for the electric cars, which I really believe are coming and are the future for Santa Monica and for California. I'm going to have to go back to City Hall to the meeting. Actually, it's not City Hall, it's at the library. But I want to leave you with a promise. And this is Santa Monica's promise, but it's also my personal promise to you. Electric car drivers, you'll always get a charge out of Santa Monica. Yeah! Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
A word for bicycles. I understand that Kevin's bicycled over here from the meeting and he's going back that way. Our next speaker's so thrilled. Paul Scott and I met Jordan Howard at an Obama fundraiser where she gave an amazing speech to introduce Hillary Clinton. She's 16. Jordan, where's my Jordan? 16 years old. And she's youth leader of Green Ambassadors, an amazing environmental education project of the Environmental Charter High School in Lakewood. At 15, Jordan's life changed when she learned and saw that we could create a world where anything was possible. I'm going to just skip a few of these comments. Jordan has created a battery recycling campaign for her school and local community, demanded a plastic-free world, directed a student-powered film teaching all ages how to go green, and has taken these solutions to her home and community. Jordan sees that she must be the change before she can expect it from anyone else. Jordan Howard. Thank you everyone for having the youth speak at this parade. My message to you is simple. It does not take a politician nor a genius to figure out that we need electric cars. I could give you all the benefits, facts, ideas, but it is easy. Electric cars pollute less and don't depend on foreign oil. We can be those that drive change, but we need the manufacturers, the government, the consumers, our parents, and youth to be a part of this change. I'm 16 years old. In a few months, it will be time to purchase my first car. Considering our nation's dependence on foreign oil, rates of asthma increasing, economic decline, and the tons of carbon petroleum cars emit each day, President-elect, automakers, consumers, mommy, daddy, I want an electric car. Automakers, please wake up and see that in order to have future generations, we need you to produce affordable electric cars. Government officials, please increase the demand of electric cars by demanding a legislative shift to increase the chances that our next generation can be the first petroleum-free generation. Mommies and daddies that have kids my age, encourage your child to buy an electric car, or even better, buy it for them. We can be those that drive change or those that stay the same. Be with me as we enter this new era of change led by Barack Obama. Everyone here, please listen to you. As green ambassadors, high school students, citizens of this planet, we want electric cars. Mommy and daddy, I need an electric car. Just so that you know, I love the Chevy Volt. Oh, yeah. Thank you. All right. Fantastic. Now, I stand in awe of true leadership from our next speaker, State Senator Fran Pavley. Doesn't need much introduction. Everyone knows her here today. She was elected state senator in November after 3 terms as assemblywoman for the district that includes Santa Monica. Senator Pavley's landmark legislation on global warming has become a model for other states and countries. Highlighting her leadership on this issue, 14 other states have modeled their own laws after AB 1493. Everyone here knows it. Now known as the Pavley Law, this law is projected to receive a federal EPA waiver this year, right? Yeah! Clearing the way for implementation of the most stringent truck and automobile fuel efficiency and emission standards in the nation. With the Global Warming Solutions Act of '06, that's AB 32, Senator Pavley authored a groundbreaking approach to cap greenhouse gas emissions emitted from California. Senator Fran Pavley.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Plug in America, for keeping the dream alive. I also wanted to recognize Adam right over here. He signed and helped color that poster. It's a message for the future. Yes, we can convert from a society with vehicles that are dependent on foreign oil to one that takes care of one of the most critical environmental and economic challenges of our lifetime, and that's climate change. I came here today to share with you a little good news and bad news. First, the bad news. You know, we're seeing accelerated impacts from global warming right here in California. I mean, this is January and we're sitting in 70-degree weather, but we're seeing earlier melt of our High Sierra snowpack. I chair the Water Committee in the State Senate. We're looking at 50% cutbacks in water. We're going to require tremendous changes in our lifestyle and water conservation. In fact, I'm having a hearing February 6th nearby. We're also seeing impacts along our 1,100 mile of coastline, sea level rise, impacts on ecosystems, saltwater intrusion in the Delta system. The link between climate change and health problems, air quality impacts is clear and compelling and affects the health and safety of our citizens. Those are the things that drove me to author AB 1493, also known as California's Clean Car Bill. So here's the good news. After Tuesday, which happens to be January 20th, Inauguration Day, I have heard through the grapevine that the Environmental Protection Agency should be reconsidering the denial of the waiver to implement AB 1493, the Clean Car Regulation. Now, it could be several months because there could be notice and some procedural hearings, but it was part of the Obama platform. Lisa Jackson, in her hearings for confirmation as EPA director, said that that's on their agenda. I personally talked to Nancy Sutley, who's part of the Obama team on energy and the environment. She said that is coming. And this is great news because we now have 16 states that have already adopted these regulations. What do they mean? Cleaner cars for the future. This will accelerate the investment in plug-in cars and electric cars, hopefully accelerate the production of batteries for these cars, which is our biggest challenge. And in the best case scenario, wouldn't it be wonderful to have California the home of the production of these batteries that can be exported and sold other states and other countries? You talk about economic stimulus, this would be it. So with those 16 states, over half the vehicles sold in the United States would have to meet these new emission standards. A 30% reduction of greenhouse gas emissions from the tailpipe of automobiles by 2016 with a gradual ramp up to meet those objectives. Listening to the big three during their hearings, they said they can do this. And let's hold them to it. And with the EPA waiver, it will provide them the incentive and a way to promote these new clean cars of the future, less dependent on foreign oil, clean up our air, reduce our impacts to global warming. Now that's a win-win situation for all of us. Thank you very much for allowing me to come today.
We have one more speaker and then we are going to launch our parade. As you all know, we have many forces of nature on the Plug America Board of Directors. My favorite force of nature, Paul Scott, is our final speaker. And a lifelong environmentalist, truly. Paul is co-founder of our group. We have several co-founders. He and I have been driving our RAV4 EV since 2002, charging it with electricity generated by the solar panels on our roof at home. Paul's been driving his Vectrix for a year, likewise driving on sunshine. Paul Scott.
Thank you all for coming. I really am appreciative of the crowd because, 4 years ago on February 16th, Kyoto Day, we started a protest against General Motors in Burbank. And if any of you have seen the film Who Killed the Electric Car, you know what happened. They took these cars away and crushed them. So that was only 4 years ago, very recent past. And it was pouring down rain. We were out there for 28 days. The press wasn't covering us. Well, look at the press is here today. It's covering us. So what has happened in those 4 years? So we've been able to get the message out that this technology does work. These cars that we drive, the RAV4s, were designed 12 years ago. The car we drive is 6 years old, 66,000 miles. Still today drives as well as the day we bought it. It's exactly the same. And again, as my wife said, all of that driving has been on sunshine. If you'll see the solar taco here, it's generating electricity directly from the sun falling on it and charging this Vectrix over here. This 40 kilowatt solar array has been around for over 10 years, and we charge regularly, and the Santa Monica fleet charges regularly from sunshine falling on this. Imagine all the parking lots in Southern California or across the nation having solar arrays like this. On top of that parking garage over there is a 181 kilowatt solar array. There are plugs on the ground floor. Eventually there will be plugs everywhere at every stall. So, as you can see, we've got to, as a nation, move away from foreign oil, dirty foreign oil, and move to renewable electricity. Electrons generated from sunlight, from wind, from geothermal, and to power our cars, so we don't have to rely on foreign countries for the energy source for our cars. So I want to thank you all for coming. This has been a very moving event for us, because when we did these protests 4 years ago in the rain, trust me, there were very few of us out there. But now everybody seems to be aware that electric cars work. We've gotten the message out, and $4 a gallon gasoline got your attention, so now everybody's paying attention. So I want to just start the parade in about 2 minutes, so I want to let everybody know that if you'd like to see the beginning of the parade, we're going to go out that gate over there. I'm going to be in charge, so anybody driving an electric car... Okay, so I was told that the media will have a problem with this, so I'm going to step aside to use the bullhorn because we need everybody to hear this, okay? So does this work? Is this loud enough? How about that? All right, now all of you hear me? Yes. Okay, we're going to get this parade started now. We're going to go out the gate onto Pico. We have a police escort. The first 10 or so cars I'm going to identify, and then as those cars leave, I want every car in the lot to pull in behind, and I will point at you, and then you go. So thank you again, all of you, for coming. If anybody would like to see the parade on Main Street, you have time if you leave now to walk down Main Street about 3 blocks to Earth Cafe or Pete's Coffee and grab a coffee and watch us come by. We're going to come by both directions. So cheer us as we come by, and again, thank you very much for coming. But first we have to clear away.
So there might be another case across.
Can you see this?
Yeah.
And this swivel's quite nice. You know, it's like your other one. This is a riot.
Okay. Awesome.
This is the first time I've had a police escort. And I'm not even arrested.
My name is Jim Houston, and I'm a part of a company called Eco-Electrica. And we build a Speedster EV, which is a mid-century Porsche platform with modern-age electric power. And we are located in the Los Angeles area. Offices are in Torrance, and headquarters for the building is downtown in Los Angeles. And the new green zone is starting to form. This is the second prototype version, and this one we did in about 2 weeks. The first one took us approximately 6 to 7 months. Mostly it was waiting for parts to come and putting them together. It's a fairly simple vehicle. The vehicle will be commercially available at $55,000. It's also eligible for the federal tax credit of $7,500, and we're hoping that the state of California will recognize it and give it a tax credit too, which can bring it into the $45,000 range.
What is the range of it?
Right now we're looking between 125 and 150.
Well, I'm known as Reverend Gadget.
Reverend Gadget.
Most people just call me Gadget, just plain old Gadget.
How long did it take for you to design this vehicle?
Well, the conversion itself, the first one that I did took me a couple of weeks, but this one, because I still had the parts left over from the other car, it was 3 days.
Wow.
I'm the editor of earth2tech.com. We write about all the clean technology companies, a lot of them in Silicon Valley, and a lot of them are electric vehicle companies and plug-in companies. So I decided to come down to this event and check it out and see about all the new innovations going on.
My name is Lauren Ortiz, and I work for a French national newspaper called Libération. The newspaper is a liberal newspaper, so we are really interested in environmental policy, especially here in California.
So Lauren, what was your impression about this parade here in Santa Monica, California today?
I think it was not really a parade. They didn't have time to show the cars to the people, but still it was the first event like that. And I think it just shows to the people that we have the technology apparently to do this. I don't have an electric car because I thought it was too expensive or it was just a dream. But apparently some people drive those cars. So
there was a parade though, believe me, because we were leading the parade. My car was the first one and Gerry was driving it.
Oh, okay.
And there were like 75 cars following.
I saw all the cars, but just for me, a parade is where you go slow and you really show the cars. Here in Los Angeles, there are no people in the streets, so it's an original parade.
So what would be your recommendation? Next parade should be done where? In France, maybe?
Well, yeah, I mean, in France, you know, we are used to protest in the streets, and that would be the perfect place, like Paris, near Bastille or the Champs-Élysées. I think that would be the best place.
Thank you so much, and welcome to California.
Thank you.
Yeah! Plug in America! So Enza, how do you feel about the parade?
I think it was simply awesome. Next time we need to go by the beach and do it around 12 noon, so we're gonna get more crowd.
Yeah.
But other than that, everybody's enthusiastic. The cars I'm seeing are just wonderful.
Yeah, there are more cars than I thought there would be.
Yes, we want to just mass produce them. I don't know what we were waiting for.
Yeah, I don't know.
Being passed off to you as president, you know, so that you can put this on the Spirit of DC. This will be truly the All-American because it will be the first hybrid, the first plug-in hybrid to make 48 states and up on Capitol Mall. We're hopeful it's going to be a Smithsonian piece, so that, you know, history is taken forward.
Love it.
Okay. Now,
right there?
Yeah, put it
all
right there. See, we all gave him the finger.
Everybody give it. Excellent.
All right.